was in the process of making a video about this stock, and during that process, I learned that they've recently stopped paying their monthly dividend and they're starting to pay a quarterly dividend. So, up until February of 2023, they paid every month, and now after that point, they now pay 4 times a year. But it doesn't change the yield or the amount that you receive, it's just less frequent payments. But this stock is Pembina Pipeline Corporation. Ticker symbol is PBA. It's currently trading for $30 a share. It's an energy stock based in Canada. It's in the oil industry. It pays 66 cents per share. The next ex-dividend date is the 14th of December because the most recent one has just passed by in September. I bought it on the 21st of June of 2021 for the first time, and it's performed, I suppose, decent since then. It looks quite similar to a lot of other stocks that I have. So I am 8% down, so it's not too bad, but I plan on averaging into it. The current dividend payout ratio is 48.5%, which is sustainable. It's good. So I have lost another stock that pays every month, which is unfortunate, but it's bound to happen. You know, it's a lot easier for a company to pay 4 times a year than it is once a month, so fair enough. But anyway, Pembina is based in Calgary in Canada, and they own a network of natural gas pipelines, gathering and processing facilities, infrastructure, logistics, and all things oil and equipment, pretty much. I'll leave this up here if you want to have a read of it yourself. But it's a pretty decently sized company, 2,600 employees. At the moment, the market cap, which is the value of the company decided by the stock market, is $22.4 billion. It has a PE ratio of 11.64, and I had a look at the PE ratio average for the Canadian oil industry. It was 11.3, so it's about on par. Pembina's revenue is $11.6 billion a year. There's a nice earnings per share of $3.5 and a pretty nice dividend yield of 6.5%. So I'll leave this financial summary up here as well if you want to pause and have a read through it. But some good news, some bad news. But their profits are looking pretty good, 25% over the last year and about 17.5% over the last quarter. The dividend has went up from 1.26 Canadian dollars to 1.54. That's quite a jump. And they're now paying 4 times a year rather than every month, so I'm sure it should give them a little bit more wiggle room. Yeah, so their profits are quite good. Their debt is also quite good, 50%. You know, if you have paid off fully half of the things that you own, that's fairly good as far as any company is concerned. Over the last quarter, it's about the same, 50% debt to assets ratio. And their cash flow over the last year from operating is about $3 billion. From investing is negative $150 million. And from financing is negative $2.7 billion. So when we get a look at the long-term graph, it gives us a clearer picture of where we are at the moment. It's had worse dips than this before, and it has had bigger recoveries than this before. This vertical drop is very recognizable in most stocks. That's lockdown, March 2020. Since then, the energy sector all around the world has been pretty wild, to be honest. But at the moment, Pembina is very close to its 52-week low, which is $29.59. You know, it's only 40 cents in the difference now. So having a look at their profits and their debt, their current fundamentals look pretty good. They've stopped paying the monthly dividend, which is a lot less responsibility, and they don't have to have cash on hand as often. You know, paying 4 times a year is a lot easier than paying once a month. And their 52-week high is about $37. So they've dropped quite a bit since then over the last year, but pretty much all stocks have, to be honest. Obviously, there's some who have done well. The majority of mine seem to have been on a bit of a downtrend. But we'll have a quick look at their dividend history. So this is where I discovered that they're now paying a dividend 4 times a year. And I was pretty shocked, to be honest. I just deleted the video I'd made because I was making it on what I thought was a monthly paying stock. And I just started again. But now because of this, there's obviously quite a big change in the dividend history. But you can see that as we move back further, the dividend gets lower, which means they're raising it bit by bit as time goes on. But now, because they're paying a lot less often, it's now at the 66 cents per share mark. And we're kind of at the forefront of the changes that they're going to make and the increases that they're going to have. So they've already raised it. Now, they've only paid 3 quarterly dividends so far, and they've raised it once. So that's pretty good. But I can only hope that the energy sector kind of calms down a little bit. It has been wild all over the world. But I do think that Pembina is a pretty good one. And even more so now that it pays 4 times a year. So I think if I have a little bit that I can invest into it, I will. But I'll do a quick summary and a rundown of everything I've just been talking about. So Pembina Pipeline stock. The ticker symbol is PBA, $30 per share at the moment. It pays 66 cents per share 4 times a year. The next ex-dividend date is the 14th of December. It has a pretty decent 6.5% dividend yield, and its debt and its fundamentals look pretty good.